うんざりだ。お前らにはどいてもらう。
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Where today, guys, this is a start of a brand new series, and this series is going to be called OPBR School, or something among that, until I can think of a better name for it. But yeah, this is going to be my tutorial videos I usually do, but with the headlines of a school, you know, because I'm pretty much just teaching you stuff or whatnot. So in today's lesson, I'm going to be teaching you about the attacker class. This is the class that most people main when they first start playing this game, as it's the pretty basic class. You know, you just go around fighting people or whatnot. So in today's lesson, I'm going to be teaching you A, the two different types of attackers there are in the game, B, what characters you should go for when it comes to attackers, C, the meta set you should run for attackers, and lastly, D, how to properly play the class. You know, like, what's like the most basic or, you know, stereotype way to play attackers. So of course, if you don't want to listen to all the parts and whatnot, here's some timestamps right here that you can skip to if you want to get to a certain part. But if you're here for the whole ordeal, then strap in and let's get started with lesson number 1. Alrighty guys, so as I said in the beginning of the video, we're going to be talking about the different types of attackers in OPBR. So there are two different types of them. There's A, the ones that have damage increase, and then there's B, the one that can stack their attack. Let's focus on A first, since it's the easiest to explain. To me it is. So when it comes to damage increase, this can fall into two categories. There's A, the basic damage increase you just get by standing inside the enemy's treasure area, or doing a certain action like hitting an element that you're strong against. Or there's the B method, which is the parameter boost method. You know, you get the damage increase by 30 or 20% or something like that by doing a certain action. As you can see on the screen right now, it says increase when doing skill 1, increase your attack by 30% for 20 seconds. So it really just all depends on what type of attacker you want. Do you want a damage increase attacker, or do you want an attacker that can stack their attack? Speaking of that, let's move on to that one. This one is self-explanatory. You know, by doing a certain action, you can stack your attack. As you can see on the screen right now, there's this one that says when attacking an enemy, you stack your attack by 3% for each hit. And then there's this one that says whenever you knock back an enemy, you increase your attack by 20%, max to 70%. So if you're wondering how attack stacking works, it's pretty simple. It takes whatever your attack stack is and it pretty much adds on to that. Let's say you had a base stat of 2,000, right? It's going to take that 2,000 and then add the 70% or 20% or, you know, however many percentage you have at the time of you playing the game, you know. But however, do be careful. There are some characters that can take away this attack increase. So that little 70% you have, it can go down right down to 0. So you have to start all over again. So do be mindful of some characters, because some characters can only take it away under certain conditions. So be mindful when you're fighting them. So that's about it for this one. Let's move on to the characters. Alright everybody, so here we are with lesson number 2, and that is what attacker should you go for when it comes to this game. So there's 3 different types of characters in this game. There's the EX characters, the Bounty Fest characters, and the Step Up characters. Obviously EX being the best and Step Up being the lowest. We're going to talk about the EX characters first, as this is the one that most people tends to go for, as it can carry you through the game and overall just make your league experience a lot better. Now, do keep in mind that when I'm talking about these EX characters, I'm going to be basing off of 2 things. 1, how often do you see the character in the league? And 2, how easy it is to use the character. So that way you can get the most out of your rainbow diamonds and you're not going for a character that's really hard to use or requires some small amount of skill to use. And now you just wasted all your rainbow diamonds on a character. So if that sounds good to you, let's talk about the first character. So this character is a character that I believe is still a really good character if played correctly, and he's not too brain dead, he's not too skillful either. It's Raidon Onigashima Ronono Zoro. This guy is a very good attacker in my opinion. He's still pretty dominant if you can use him correctly. If you're wondering what makes this Zoro so good, it's the fact that Zoro has this trait to where he increases damage by 30% when attacking the element that he is strong against. And I don't know if you can see, but Zoro has the ability to change to every element. whether it be red, blue, or green. So yeah, Zoro can be a monster house. He can shred the opponent health down real easily. He just makes the job, easy. But however, though, Zoro do have a big weakness, and that weakness is status effects. So preferably status effects that can hold him in place, not damaging ones. Status effects like shock, entrance, tremor, Candyman, etc., etc. Status effects like that are Zoro's biggest weakness, because once he gets caught in them, he's pretty much done for if the character keeps inflicting the status effect. However, you can get around this. You veterans can, I should say, if you have certain metal sets, but we will get into that in a second. But if you're a new player and you got Zoro, then I'm sorry to tell you, there's not much that you can really do besides just outsmarting your opponents and just try to avoid you getting hit by a status effect, But that's pretty much about it for Zoro, so let's move on to the next character. So the next character that I want to say is a character that I'm not really a big fan of. I hate this character with a passion. I was never a big fan of him, but I'm going to include him in this list as he's still pretty good. And that character is Fenris Shanks. Fenris Shanks is still a very good attacker. He can still dominate League somewhat. Although he has a crap ton of counters, it does not mean that he's bad. I've seen a lot of Fenris Shanks absolutely pop off and just destroy the lobby. So yeah, he's still a very good attacker. If you're wondering what makes this Shanks so good, it's the fact that he has the ability to go into the state called red hair hockey state. And once he's in this state, he cannot be locked onto by skills. He nullifies status effects, and he does many other things too. So pretty much he gets this hockey state. Once he gets this hockey state, I should say, he's pretty much a monster house. But that's the thing though, Shanks kind of relies on the hockey state, so if you don't have it, you're gonna kind of struggle a bit. I should also mention too that Shanks is a attacker that can stack his attack by not backing the enemy, and he does that on his normals and his skill 1, so it's relatively easy to get that. But yeah, as I said before, Shanks is quite reliant on his hockey state, but if you play smart with him, then he is still very good. This guy is still a monster house. And so now this brings me to the last character on today's list when it comes to the EX characters. And this is probably one of the more controversial EXs. I don't hate this EX per se. I think it was just a bit weird that they were an EX character. But the EX character in question I'm talking about is EX Ace and Yamato, or as some people like to call him, Yace. So yeah, these guys are absolutely insane. These guys are an insane attacker, absolutely. Like, I don't even know how you put in the words. These guys are just crazy. They're one-shotting machines, I should say. If you're wondering what makes these guys so good, it's the fact that, well, for one, it's 2 characters in one, so you have the ability to switch characters mid-match. So if you're playing as Ace, for instance, and he's like low on health or you have no skills, you could switch to Yamato and get your skills back, or just get your HP back. And of course, since they're 2 separate characters, they have their own separate traits too. So yeah, pretty annoying to deal with. And these guys are attackers that can stack their attack, by the way. However, just like Zoro, these guys have a huge weakness, and that is the same weakness Zoro has, which is status effects. Put all of the weaknesses I said about Zoro and apply it to these guys. These guys have the same weakness. They are very vulnerable to status effects. So yeah, be careful when it comes to that. Again, you can get around it if you have certain metal sets, which again we'll get into in a second. But if you don't have those, then you will struggle with these guys. But they're still very good, they're not bad at all, I will say. So now I'm going to talk about how much it is for a guaranteed copy of one of these guys. So if you want a guaranteed copy of EX Zoro, it's 2,800 Rainbow Diamonds. If you want a guaranteed copy of Shanks, it's 2,750 Rainbow Diamonds. And if you want a guaranteed copy of Yace, it's, get this, 3,500 Rainbow Diamonds. Now, this could be wrong, because I'm looking at a list that's 4 months old that shows all the Rainbow Diamond costs for all the EXs, but I'm just basing it off of that. So you correct me in the comments, this is wrong. But yeah, that's what it says right here. So yeah, they're pretty expensive. It's to be expected from EX characters. So that wraps up the EX characters. Let's move on to the Bounty Fest characters, shall we? Alright, everybody, so as I said previously, we are now going to start talking about Bounty Fest characters. Bounty Fest characters are just EX characters, but with not that many traits, pretty much. They just take away a few traits from them and just call them Bounty Fest. That's all there is to it. Because there are some Bounty Fest characters that are so good that we call them hidden EX characters. As the name implies, it's just a character in disguise as a Bounty Fest character, but they're like an EX character. So, yeah. Now, I would be here all freaking day if I were to talk about each character individually, so I'm gonna put a bunch of them on the screen right now. I sadly won't be able to put how much it is for a guaranteed copy, and I won't be able to fit a trait on them, but I will say that if you use these characters in League, you can actually put up a fight. These characters are pretty dang good, I would say. You know, some of y'all might see some of these characters and think differently, but from what I be seeing, I see these characters in League and they do relatively well, especially if you have like a certain medal set on them and whatnot. So yeah, if you want some good Bounty Fest characters, if you want a certain character out this list, then I suggest saving for them, or you don't even have to go for the Bounty Fest character, you know, you can just save for the next EX character. However, here's some advice for you. If a new Bounty Fest character does ever come out and you do want them, I would advise waiting for some gameplay. You know, I think it'll be best to wait for some gameplay to see how the character is and see what everyone else say about them, because you don't want to go for a Bounty Fest that's bad. You know, you want to make sure to get what you're worth for. So yeah, that's it for the Bounty Fest. Let's move on to the step up characters. All right, everybody, so now it's time to talk about the last batches of characters, and then we'll move on to the medals, and that is going to be the step up characters. So step up characters are the free characters, I like to call them. These are characters that you can get for free simply by going to the exchange shop and buying their character fragments. However, since they're free, they're not that good, as Bandai tends to not give them that many traits, or they just tend to make their traits kind of trash. However, there are some exceptions. There are some step up characters that are actually pretty nice. They are really good. You know, I'm going to put some on the screen right now, as these characters on the screen some of them have the ability to one-shot people, while others just hit insanely hard or just do well in general. Overall, these are pretty nice attackers. I would definitely advise getting them if you want to, but no, I think you should definitely get them because they are free. Now, do I advise you summon for step up characters? Absolutely not. Do not summon for step up characters, as is a waste of your rainbow diamonds. Like I said, you can get these guys for free. Like, all you gotta do is just buy their character frags when it does eventually appear in there, and then you just keep doing it every single day. You'll eventually just get them 6-star, and yeah, there's no point in summoning for step up characters. That's how I feel about it. So that's about it for the step up. So let's move on to the third lesson, shall we? All right, everyone, so now it's time we move on to the next lesson in today's video, and that's going to be what medals should you put on attackers. So there's many different variety of medals you can put on your attackers to make them hit harder or simply get their skills back faster. For the beginners out there who don't really know what medals are, to put it shortly, medals are just extra traits, you know. Like, I'm gonna put a little clip on the screen right now. So you see, this is all Zoro's traits once you get them 5-star or whatnot. So pretty much what medals are doing, they're just pretty much adding more traits to the traits that he already has. So like skill 1 cooldown reduction speed, dodge cooldown, capture speed, damage increase, damage reduction, etc, etc. Medals are just pretty much adding to what he already has to make him more better, and it can also increase his stats to make him better. So yeah, like I said, there's many different varieties of medals. However, it is to be noted that in order to get these medal traits, you need to match one medal with another medal. Let's say, for instance, I have the Fire Fist Pistol Red Hawk medal, I think I said it right, and the King Kong Gun medal. These are both Luffy medals, and because of that, it's going to activate multiple different tags, as you can see on the screen. There's the Dressrosa tag, since these two are both from Dressrosa. It's going to activate the Straw Hat Pirates, Paramecia Captain, etc, etc. There's many different medals you can put on, but we're going to be talking about the basic ones that you can get. Now, I'm not going to include event medals, as you know, some event medals leave, they never come back unless you buy the medal exchange shop thing, which is behind a paywall. So that's why that's like the main reason why I'm not including it. It's behind a paywall, and I want to try to make this as free to play as possible, probably. So yeah, I'm not including event medals. I'm only going to include the general ones that you can get just by playing the game. So enough yabbering on. Let's get on to the medals. So the first type of medals that I like to say or introduce are the Luffy medals. There are so many different Luffys in this game. So because of that, there's many different medals that you can choose from. As you can see, all these Luffy medals tend to all do something different. There's some that give you cooldown reduction. They give you skill cooldown reduction. Some give you capture speed. Some give you damage increase. There's many different options you can choose from here. And again, they all do something different, so it's always fun to mix and match to make sure you get the right medals that you want. And if you have some event Luffy medals, then I would advise using it with those as well. So yeah, Luffy medals tend to be the best ones in the game, as they are very easy to get your hands on, so there's so many Luffys and just mix and match them. So yeah, that's enough for that. Let's move on to the next one. So this one is one that many of you may be familiar with, and that's the Kaido medals. Now, besides event medals, there's only 3 Kaido medals in the game that you can get by playing the game, and that's Kaido medal, Blast Breath medal, and Conquerors of 3 Worlds Raikanaku medal. These 3 medals all gonna activate the same tags, so you can get the benefits out of those. And not only that, this medal set also provides you some skill 1 cooldown reduction, as Kaido medal gives you skill 1 cooldown when you get hit. Conquerors of 3 Worlds medal give you the skill 1 cooldown when you grab a flag. While Blast Breath medal doesn't give you skill cooldown reduction, it does give you damage increase. And there's nothing wrong with a bit of damage increase. So yeah, I would definitely advise getting this medal set whenever you can, as it's very skill 1 cooldown oriented. And with that, that's enough of Kaido. So let's move on to the last one that could be very helpful for attackers. This may be one that a lot of you veterans may remember, as, you know, many people used to use it more back then, but more people are using it now since S-Snake's running around, and that's the Boa set. Now, there's only really 4 Boas in the game, and no, I'm not counting S-Snake because she's not a Boa technically. So yeah, there's only 4 of them in the game. There's the Shikibukai one, the Bikini Boa one, the Kuja Pirates, and Stampede. All do something different. But if you want the best ones, I would definitely say the Kuja Pirates, Bikini, and Shikibukai, as they all provide, I think they all provide damage increase. I could be wrong, but I think they all provide some damage increase. So I would definitely advise getting this one, as it just can be very helpful in general. But you can get the Stampede one too if you want to. That's up to you. So yeah, that's about it when it comes to the medals for attackers. It is also to be noted that you can also get reduced status effect time with the medals. What I mean by this is that the Boa medals, for instance, can reduce entrance time. Let me think. Let me think of some more. There are some medals that can reduce shock, like they can reduce how long shock lasts for. There's some that reduce how long a flame will last for. You get it. Just reducing how long the status effect can last for can be very helpful for when a character is meta that's running around status affecting people. You can just run a certain medal set to counter them. But that's up to you if you want to do something like that. So yeah, that's it for the medals. So let's move on to the final lesson of today's video. Alright everybody, so now it's time for the last lesson of today's video, and that's going to be and that's going to be how to properly play the attacker role. So this one should be self-explanatory, like, oh, that's easy, you know, you just go around fighting people. And yeah, you're right, you know, it's like the self-explanatory thing. However, I want to bring up something that a lot of players tend to do. I fall victim to this as well sometimes, but I'm slowly starting to break out of the habit. But this is something that a lot of players do, and ends up costing us or even you the match, and you don't even notice it. And that something is called tunnel vision. Tunnel vision is when you're so focused on doing one thing that you don't pay attention to what's happening around you. You know, it's like actually going into a tunnel. You guys went into a tunnel before, you know, you can only see what's in front of you. You can't see what's around you, only what's in front and behind you. That's what tunnel vision is. So this tends to happen mainly with attackers. Attackers are so focused on getting kills that they tend to not pay attention to enemies grabbing their flag, and we end up losing matches because of that. Now, this this, like I said, happens to me sometimes too. Whenever I'm defending flag, I'll be focused on defending one flag, but there's another flag being captured, and there's nothing I could have done because, well, it's something I could have done, but I was so focused on defending that one flag, and I wasn't paying attention, you know? It's something that we all fall victim to. Some people don't fall for it, but some people do. And there's a little habit that I just want some of you guys to break, because it really does cost you matches. Like, there's nothing wrong with going around getting kills. That's perfectly fine, you know, but try not to get too focused on it, because you end up losing the match. I mean, I understand why you're trying to kill people, but look, the main objective of the game is to grab and capture flags. There's nothing wrong, like I said, with getting kills, but don't make it your number one priority though, okay? So I guess what I'm trying to say is that stop focusing on getting kills the entire match. So now with that out of the way, let's move on to how to actually play attacker. So this is like the little thing that I do whenever I play attacker. Like when the match first whenever the match first starts, you can do one of two things. You can either A, help the runner get mid flag, or whoever else is trying to get mid flag, just help them get mid flag, secure it, so that way when the runner or whoever else grabs the flag, they don't immediately die upon the enemy team up there jumping the motherfucker because he was trying to get mid flag and there's no one there to help him. Or if there's someone already going to mid flag with the runner, you can do the B option, which is grabbing the second flag. Because like once you grab second flag, you can either just sit there and charge it up, or you can just go off and do your own thing. Because after that, once you do one of those two things, you can just start freestyling. You can just go out, help your teammates. You can play kind of aggressive. Just don't be, tunnel vision. You can, just do whatever you want, really. Attackers have more freedom when it comes to things. Because, they're like the damage dealers, so they don't have to be grabbing flags. They don't have to be technically defending. They can just be going around doing things. But I would suggest guarding flags, as, enemies are trying to get them. So that would be the smart thing to do. But that's me, though. That's how I usually play attacker. So, yeah, to recap, don't get tunnel vision. If runner is... if the runner's trying to get mid flag, or whoever else is grabbing mid flag, go help them. And if someone's already going to mid flag with them, then get second flag and then freestyle. So yeah, guys, that's it for today's video. This video was quite lengthy, as you can tell. Well, it might not have been. It feels lengthy to me. Trust me, this took hours to make. This took hours. Oh my god, you guys don't even understand how long I've been working on this video for. It took me forever. It feels like this video is long, but it's not even that long. This is like the average length of my videos. But yeah, though, guys, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. And I'll, of course, see you guys in the next video, alright? Peace out, everybody.